Hi guys.
Hi.
Finished reading Frankenstein? I really had a great time learning the crucial philosophies highlighting human nature in its entirety, although I do have a few questions. I'm quite puzzled as to why Victor couldn't just take care of his creation. I mean, sure, it wasn't the most pleasant being to look at, but he just ran away from the creature without a second thought. The creature even raised its hand out and smiled affably.
Well, if I may interject, it is human nature to judge everything through appearance. You cannot look me in the eyes and tell me you have never judged something through first glance. Our eyes are quite deceiving. However, this perception of people through their appearance does not come out of nowhere. It is learned from the environment around us. In other words, perceptions become tainted over time as those around us preach what is right from wrong, good from bad. Oftentimes, these teachings may become biased. In the beginning, people are more open and free to the new and foreign. Although this leaves them vulnerable, they don't have a fixed idea of people based on first impressions. Their minds are not chained down to a specific mindset that has the potential to hurt others or themselves. This is why the minds of children are so pure and curious.
Are you sure it's mere environment? I do recall the creature trying to capture and raise Victor's older brother, William. He thought William was just a child whose mind had not been tainted by the perceptions of hateful adults. However, fearful William tried to escape the creature's grasp, only dying by the hand of the monster. Perhaps people are born with at least some of their perceptions to survive. Children are not fearful of low furry animals, for example.
Well, William already had time to be influenced. He had formed his idea of normal early on in life, for he spent time with his family and they cared for him. If the creation raised him from birth, he would have been more accustomed to his appearance. In regards to little furry animals, children probably don't see them as a threat for their small size, but I am sure there is a slight hesitation at first glance until someone says it is okay. This brings into consideration the creation's abnormally enormous and intimidating stature.
Alright, if you are correct about the environment influencing our perceptions, wouldn't that mean it would also change us in how we act in general, including our values?
Okay, thanks, Captain Obvious. Yes, of course it does. Like the famous philosopher Rizal once said, man is born free, but everywhere else he's in chains. Unfortunately, the environment can be unforgiving, similar to the surrounding of the creation. The creation was only treated like a monster, so much that he became a monster himself, murdering many people. Our daily grind and interactions not only shape how we see the world, but also mold us into the individual characters we are, including our ideals, actions, and memories. Since the creation was only met with hatred, it caused him to express hatred. It's as if every kind deed or positive emotion was met with feelings of hostility differentiates into those negative emotions. This shatters the free and burdenless character of man, and they are chained to the sin and shackles of misery.
Well, that got dark. I think it's clear that we have all committed sin because of societal limitation. But can it be forgiven? The creation can never forgive Victor for his misery, and Victor actively sought revenge for the sake of his family. Amongst a variety of themes expressed throughout the book, I'm surprised forgiveness was not one of them. It brings into question of when it is okay to forgive and move on, though. Maybe what the author is trying to say is that revenge is not the answer to everything. Revenge led to misery and hatred in the book, with no resolve in sight. Forgiveness makes a better world for oneself and others around them.
I would have to disagree. The creation had actually given Victor a second chance to create him a female creature, to rewrite his wrongs. Victor brought his hopes up by agreeing and then crushed it in destroying the female. This is unforgivable, because essentially Victor condemned his creation to the worst possible punishment, loneliness and solitude. Whether the creation forgave Victor or not, his life would have been equally miserable. Humans are social creatures, being one of the only few creatures that can not live without a companion. It is clear that the creation is of human nature, with its versatile knowledge and emotions. Being alone makes people insane, literally. The creation cannot even stand the sight of himself. He would be stuck with his own loathing company, and being condemned to a living hell is unforgivable.
Speaking of family and friends, during the entire duration of the book, Alphonse Frankenstein was constantly directing Victor on how to rid himself of misery. Family always assumes the best for us, and the best of us, even though they don't know what is going inside of our minds. We could be the most sinful of creatures, and they would still love us. Friends, on the other hand, do not always think the best of us and have the ability to suspect something more at play. Victor explains how his friends judged him for who he was through merit and actions. They are not blinded by what they want us to be. I guess we can't get away with murder now.
Symbolically speaking, family contains our blood, making them a part of us. They cannot doubt and hold distrust against someone who is a part of them. Like they always say, blood bonds us all. Friends, however, do not share our blood and may be slightly more judgmental of our actions.
Okay, at this point, the opinions of our family and friends don't really matter when it comes to our own decisions. If we are going to be realistic, people do what they think is best despite third-person judgment. They just ask for it because people are naturally insecure. We manage to justify all our decisions whether they are wrong or not. Victor morally justified creating a female creature and then justified destroying the creature. Decisions aren't about the right or wrong answer, but the correct justifications. All decisions can be justified, but are the justifications themselves strong and grounded enough to make that choice?
Thanks, guys. That was really great. Can we read this next?